Okay, so Poland played Argentina tonight in the World Cup. The other match was Saudi Arabia versus Mexico. I decided to go with the Poland-Argentina game. I'm regretting that because the Saudi Arabia-Mexico game was apparently a thriller. And at one point, Mexico were 2-0 up against Saudi Arabia. Argentina obviously win the game against Poland 2-0, and it was coming down to bookings to distinguish between Poland and Mexico in regards to who goes through, because they were equal on goal difference, goals scored, goals conceded, basically everything. They were dead set even. Poland were going through by virtue of having a better disciplinary record. And then Saudi Arabia scored, so it didn't matter what Mexico did then, right at the death. But let's focus on the game tonight. Now, Argentina going into this game had a shocker against Saudi Arabia, deservedly lost that game. Were laboured against Mexico, but Mexico were that bad, and were fantastic this evening against an equally dreadful, in comparison to what Mexico were in the second game, Poland. Poland were absolutely woeful this evening. Absolutely atrocious. But this Argentina side, as I say, are very inconsistent in performance. And, if it wasn't for Szcznsny in the Poland goal, we could have had 6 or 7 by Argentina tonight. I honestly believe that. Poland are lucky that Wojciech Szcznsny has had stood on his head and made a countless number of saves, including saving a Messi penalty towards the end of the first half. And we can debate whether VAR has got that wrong, or shockingly wrong, or what, because that was a 50-50 challenge. That is accidental contact, and it's barely contact. That is a ridiculous penalty to be given. And then Messi, the penalty that Messi actually takes is actually very, very good. It just so happens that Szczesny's a bit of a specialist at saving penalties. That's 2 in this tournament he's saved, and he's actually got a good record against saving penalties throughout his career for club and country. So Szczesny's pulled off a masterclass this evening to keep the scoreline respectable, in my opinion. I have not seen an Argentina team play this well since 2006. I believe it was the game against Serbia where every player touched the ball at least twice in the move to score one of the goals. Messi was in that team back in 2006, a very young Messi, against Serbia and Montenegro, where it was a 6-0 game on the day, but one of the goals, which can be Asso starts and finishes, is one of the best team goals I've ever seen. They were trying that tonight at times, and it wasn't the Messi show tonight. Other players stepped up. Messi has a good game, not a great game, a good game, but other players had great games. That's how I like to see it. The 2 goals that are scored are fantastic, and by future stars in the making. There are some players coming of age in this tournament for Argentina, taking some pressure off Messi and actually doing some good stuff themselves. For too long, it's been the Messi show with Argentina, where the focus is Messi, and then players get bolted on, and it has to be through him. This team now, if Messi's having an off game, it doesn't matter. Or is not playing at his best. We're playing well, because there's other players that contribute to the side rather than just being bolted on around Messi. And while the penalty miss on 38 minutes, Szczesny's already made several good saves by that point. On another night, it could already be 3-0 by that point. Poland was showing nothing. After half-time, straight away, Alexis McAllister scores a fantastic goal. Well, the build-up's brilliant. The finish, if he hits that clean, Szczesny saves that. Because it's a scuffed finish, it goes in. It's not the cleanest contact by Alexis McAllister. But as I say, if he hits that clean, Szczesny saves it, because it would go straight up. Because he's bobbled it a little bit, it curves away from Szczesny's outstretched arm. So sometimes not getting a clean contact's not the end of the world. It actually means you score a goal. Whereas if you get a nice, true, clean contact, keeper saves it. And with the way Szczesny was playing up to that point, you actually need a bit of a scruffy finish to beat the keeper. And then suddenly Argentina wake up. Poland were dreadful. The second half if you're a Poland fan, was absolutely dreadful. When Julian Alvarez scores on 67 minutes, at this point in the Mexico-Saudi Arabia game, we're now looking at yellow cards to differentiate the two teams because goal difference is now equal. There was that 4-goal swing that Mexico required for them to be tied. And the Julian Alvarez goal is fantastic. It's fantastic. And then Argentina start passing the ball around like this is a training session. Poland were absolutely atrocious. Now, did they make Argentina look better than they actually are? Who knows? Are Argentina finally clicking into gear with their combinations and you know, playing for each other and the teamwork? Who knows? Because they were pretty dreadful against Saudi Arabia and they were laboured against Mexico. I can't get a read on this Argentina side, but maybe Poland weren't that bad. An average Argentina team, for example, could look world class. But actually, to be fair, the way Poland set up, they were so passive. But the pace and passing and movement of Argentina, Poland was struggling to cope with it. Even if they were less passive in defence and really trying to crunch them with tackles, they were being moved all over the place. They barely got out on the ball. Lewandowski barely touched the ball. He was isolated. There was about 30 or 40 metres between Lewandowski and the rest of his team at times, which just makes no sense. There was no link-up play with Lewandowski, but then Argentina are dictating their passing at will. And they do have some very good technical players. And yeah, Messi's had a penalty save and didn't have his best game. There was moments where Messi was rolling back the ears a little bit with some of his runs and movement, and he's picking up the ball deep, and then going on a mazy run using his footwork. But then he's got other players also doing that, like McAllister. McAllister going on a run. I mean, I think one of the weak links in attack is actually Di Maria is too inconsistent in attack. He's not. I don't think Di Maria's had a great tournament. I can see Di Maria possibly being the player that gets dropped, and one of the other wide wingers or front three on the bench gets a chance. Maybe Julian Alvarez, gets a start over Di Maria because I think Di Maria has been the weakest out of the attacking creative players for Argentina on a consistent basis. Whenever I see Di Maria play, he's average at best. He stole a living at Man United. He was carried by Real Madrid. Di Maria is one of them. Whenever I've seen him play for club or country, he can have a few good games here or there, but a lot of the time he's a poor man's Mesut Ozil. There you go. That's saying something. Is Di Maria? He's a frustrating player, and I do think Julian Alvarez, I think, is a young up and coming talent that you could interchange with McAllister. Maybe play him a little bit wider. He's got pace. He's got skill, and he scored a brilliant goal. There are some other young players in this Argentina side that I think should be given a run because I don't think Australia are going to have enough to even challenge Argentina, in my opinion. But Argentina topped the group. Poland squeaked through by sheer luck, and if it wasn't for Szcznsny, Poland are out because they were dreadful. And I can see France having a field day with this Poland side. I really can. I can see France having an absolute field day. And this group was far more open than it needed to be. But hey, matches aren't won on paper. You've got to play them. And Argentina started off slowly and I think have built their way in. Poland have been a little bit hit and miss. Mexico weren't good enough. Saudi Arabia played better than expected. This group was much closer than anticipated, but there we go. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. Please place your thoughts in the comments section below, and I will have some more content for you very, very soon.